Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the World of Light Tour on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries. And in this episode, we have defeated Crazy Hand once again, which has made Galeem even more powerful, which means we gotta go and deal with a bunch of light agents now. Also, it spawns up another path down here in order for us to go fight a different Master Hand. That is true Master Hand, actually. Although we had to go and defeat normal the fake Master Hand as well. So
funny, we were just talking about characters and their counterparts.
Now you mentioned that you want less duplicate / clones of characters. But to be perfectly honest, Smash Ultimate doesn't really have that many duplicate / clones. Like to the point where a good portion of the old duplicate / clones got updated into Echo Fighters, which, although are similar, do have some pretty significant differences. Like, yes, Fox and Falco do feel very similar through most of their kit, but they actually do have some pretty specific differences that make combat with them really drastically different. Like, Fox's blaster specifically is significantly more powerful than significantly faster than Falco's, but it has effectively no knockback. Whereas Falco's blaster is much slower than Fox's, but actually hits harder. And they also have different. They also use their reflector differently too, because reflector on Fox is a standing defensive special, whereas Falco's is still defensive in nature, but he actually throws it forward. So yeah. Also, we have bested young Samus.
Well, that now that you mention it, it is nice. What I'm trying to say is, there are pros and cons to making counterparts of characters that are functionally similar yet altogether unique in their own aspects. It comes down to learning, but now what are you learning? You know that, like Fox and Falco, you know that both of them have a blaster. Okay, so you get the part that all you have to do is just hit neutral special and you can start firing the blaster. What is going to take even more time is because you're probably, let's say you're more used to using Fox than using Falco. Now you have to wrap your head around the differences, because there's a part of you that just wants to accept, like, these two are the same. Now you're going to immediately run into the problem. They are not the same. They do have very specific weaknesses and comparative advantages over the other. You have to learn what these advantages are. But is that really better than just starting afresh with a character where you have to learn, like, the nuts and bolts for how they work?
Kind of depends, honestly. It kind of depends on what you're looking for in your mascot fighter. Like for Smash Brothers, I honestly think that the fact that we are up to, I think it's actually 100 fighters in total with the DLC, and we're not going to be showing off any of the DLC fighters, but with 100 fighters, although there is arguably too many goddamn fighters in the game, if you're willing to actually play test with all of them, you're eventually going to find at least one or two that you actually really like playing with. Then you really need to either decide to stay on there and learn them as well as you can, or continue exploring. My recommendation is that you continue exploring until you've at least tried everyone, but you don't have to do that.
Right, yeah, you could play this entire game as just one character.
As Kirby, for example.
Yep, case in point, Gerda has been playing as Kirby for 32 episodes in a row now, with some exception. We did switch characters at some point.
Yeah, we did. We did play with Slammin' a couple of times, and we also played with Donkey Kong for the Omega Ridley fight.
So if they were trying to improve the speed at which a player could, like, get used to playing as just about every character in the game,
they would actually have a decent fucking training mode. Unfortunately, that's not what this game is about.
Yeah, see, I grew up with training mode. If you want to learn how a character works, stop everything you're doing, go to training mode, beat up on a CPU dummy, set the routines, and just learn how the character works. I did that for Game & Watch, I did that for Mewtwo, and it's a process that is different than just oh, let's learn on the fly, because freaking Toon Link is kind of like Young Link. So I'm going to play Toon Link like he's Young Link, but then as I go, I'm going to learn the little differences, but because I'm already somewhat good at Young Link, that I can actually be, like, worth a crap in a fight. So I don't have to practice first, because practice takes time.
I tell a bit of a fib. The training mode for Smash Ultimate is actually pretty extensive. I don't think you can program your enemies all that well, but you can influence the fight in a myriad of ways. So.
Well, so basic AI routines would be like stand still, or evade, or attack.
And evade is not that basic, okay? Evade is definitely something that, although other fighting games have the ability to incorporate, I've not done enough practice mode in Smash Ultimate to know for certain that it's here.
Fierce. Where the hell did this character come from?
Majora's Mask. If you 100%, if you collect all the masks in Majora's Mask, and you get to the moon. Oh yeah. Also, a Fierce Deity Link can two-shot virtually every character in the roster because of just how much power and the easy to launch weakness that we've got applied to us. Anyway, if you get all the masks in Majora's Mask, when you get to the moon, you're allowed to trade in those masks with the various residents of Majora's race, because Majora is a member of a caster race. And you can eventually become Fierce Deity Link, and Fierce Deity Link absolutely trivializes the fight against Majora, but is really cool because you're effectively Tall Link, except you not only have Adult Link's body, but you also have more than Adult Link's raw power. Permanent sword beam, motherfucker.
This is like Family Guy teaching me about 70s and 80s TV shows.
And then Bayonetta shows up in order to tell you it's okay, you don't need to know everything.
Bayonetta does make me feel like there is a lot of stuff that I don't know that I should know. It must be the glasses.
Yeah.
Because but just putting, no data or IQ test scores available. People look smarter when they have glasses on. This is a proven fact.
So, we have successfully unlocked Bayonetta, one of the best characters from Smash 4. She's still good in this game. Her speciality has actually shifted over from easy knockouts, however, to consistent chip damage. And once she has gotten her consistent chip damage in, then she can attempt to score some relatively decent ladder knockouts. I don't know how to do them, so I don't bother to play with Bayonetta pretty much at all.
Bayonetta looks like a fun character to include in like a 1v1v1v1 scenario.
She is, but as one of the more humanoid characters, she honestly does prefer to fight single opponents rather than groups of enemies. Like, she doesn't really have all that good of widespread damage or even all that good of projectiles, to be perfectly honest. Like, King DDD and Bowser are honestly relatively good at dealing with crowds because of how their projectiles work, and in comparison, Bayonetta is not. Her projectiles don't do that much damage. They just end up being decent interrupts from time to time. We have successfully taken down True Crazy Hand, and we have gotten him as a primary support spirit. I won't be using him because we already have Soma maxed out. So yeah. However, for defeating Crazy Hand, we have successfully rescued him from Darkon's control. Wah!
Wait, what? What, now the hands are on our side?
Well, Crazy Hand is on our side. We said to go and rescue Master Hand.
He's just that crazy. He doesn't even know what allegiance he's on anymore.
Gotta be careful about taking on too many dark spirits from here, though. I have gotten the bad ending where either Darkon or Kaleem ends up winning. It's not all that satisfying, so we will not be showing it off. That said, we are going to be attempting to show off us successfully recruiting Master Hand to our side. after we go take down Solgaleo. We also took down Lunala in this part, so... Alright, so... Dang it, Incineroar.
Yeah, and once again, they're not having us fight. The character that this match is dedicated to is not the character that we're fighting. It's the damn trophy that comes in and mucks everything up for us.
Which actually does make sense because what is Solgaleo's attack? Sunsteel Strike. Sunsteel Strike is extremely powerful, mostly because. Very specifically, if you get hit with it in this, while Incineroar's got the gold power up on him, it's just gonna launch you out of the map. Despite the fact that this is a stamina match, you saw it earlier when he landed the off the rope lariat on us while we were at the edge. Incineroar will just do that to you. All right. This is the actual hardest fight in the entire fucking World of Light 1. This is the Aegis fight. Mythra and her counterpart end up actually becoming DLC fighters later on. But yeah, this fight fucking blows. The big problem that this fight actually comes into is the fact that Shulk and Corrin are actually fighting together extremely well, and I think that they actually have I think they actually have a little bit of attack speed bonuses going with them too. So it is very, very easy for them to just combo you out of the ring. With that said, pick one. Just pick one. If you can seriously take down either Shulk or Corrin relatively quickly, this fight gets much easier. I don't know which one I would actually recommend taking down. I think Shulk is easier to take down than Corrin is, but at the same point, pick one. Pick one and stick to it. It's something that I'm not doing all that well here, and you can see that it's fucking me over specifically. I keep wanting to try to pick one and failing to do so.
Well, how can you pick one when they're both standing? It looks like they're scripted to just cover each other the entire game, because they're not covering for the arena. They're covering the spot wherever their teammate is.
Which is how it looks like it's going, which is why you have to force them apart. And Kirby is not honestly all that good at doing that. That said, I'm not entirely certain of who I would recommend bring into this fight for that. Like, if you could win this fight, through self-destructs, I would actually recommend bringing in Bowser or Ridley for this. But I don't think that you can actually win this fight over self-destructs without some serious mechanical depth. Mechanical understanding and execution that I just straight up do not have.
Okay, so we isolated them. One of them's on the arena, the other one just recovered. I would try using a heavy character in a situation like this, because at least if you can get an attack in between them, your attack's going to be enough to blow them away from each other.
There, okay, Corrin is down, Shulk is down. Ugh.
Suck my fluffy pink balls.
Mythra's support spirit giving you critical hit ++ is honestly extremely powerful for characters that give a shit about critical hit. So Marth. That said, I'm not going to end up using him. Hey Palutena. As I've previously mentioned, Palutena is one of my favorite characters from Smash 4 because of the custom move system that is fucking gone in this game. That said, Palutena is still very powerful in this game, mostly due to her mixture of both relatively decent projectiles and the fact that all of her smash attacks have got an additional knockback effect on them because she's using her wings. In the next episode, we will successfully rescue Master Hand from the control of Galeem. Be safe, everybody.
We gotta give the hand a hand.